Hello FlowStube, my name is Tamara, and today's video format, or the way I'm going to film and present you with today's video, it's a first on my channel. I have been having this wish for a few years now, because a few years ago it started in stitching, like FlowStube stitching, the trend of having the mania, it's called. So when you start every day a new project during 1 month, and also, at least for Russian-speaking FlowStubers, it's very popular another kind of video when you challenge yourself for 24 hours to stitch as much as possible without distracting yourself for anything else. Of course, it's impossible to stitch 24 hours, but it means for those 24 hours, you try to stitch as much as you can. Since this kind of videos were being shown on FlowStube, I have been wanting to try them. With the mania, I did a different kind of thing, because starting a new project every day, for me, it's from the organizational and from the, timeline point of view, still it's difficult to do this. But I haven't gave up the idea. So I think that when I'll have the inspiration and I'll have the necessary time and organization, still I'm going to try to make like the one day, one new project, and during 1 month to every day to start new projects. Instead of that, like 2 years ago, I made a different kind of mania. In my case, it was a spring of new projects. So starting with March, finishing with May. So it was like March, April, and May. All 3 months, every week I started a new project. So it means there were 12 or 13 even new projects. So it was 2 springs ago. So if you'll go to 2 springs ago and you'll watch my videos, you'll see what happened. It was a very nice and pleasant experience for me, at least, because the designs I chose to stitch, they weren't very big. So I managed to finish, if I'm not wrong, all of them, or almost all of them. So it was a very, very good and pleasant experience of doing this. But as I said, I never left the idea of trying mania, trying having a new project every day. Okay, and the second one, which I also wanted to try, the second challenge and the second type of video, it was like stitching the stitching marathon. So during 24 hours to stitch as much as you can. Again, I couldn't have this like from the timeline point of view, because I don't have helpers. My family is not here with me, so I have tasks which I have to do, and the child was little, and I couldn't afford myself such a thing. Now, what changed? It changed the fact that now my husband has a very busy project. So a very busy project. That's why I have a lot of time, like apart from him, let's say so. So he's out of the equation, and the child now has so the school finishes in like late afternoon, and after that he has clubs. I mean, like he has sports clubs and other interest clubs. So I'm picking him up from school even later, you see. And if he comes later, the only thing he asks to have like a good dinner and time with his iPad, and then he's very tired, a bath, and he's sleeping. So and he's a big boy now, a bigger boy. And my time, so he asks much less of my time. In such conditions, I would like to try to challenge myself. The thing is that this 24-hour of marathon, they can start anytime you want, depending on how your schedule is. In my case, I decided, so I'm filming this part a day before, so the introductory part, explaining part. So my plan is like that. So tomorrow morning, I'll get up as early as my husband, so he's going to go to work, and then I'm going to start stitching. So that's going to be my start. Then I'll just interrupt myself just to get the child ready and get him to school. This doesn't take a lot of time because we live not far apart from the school, so it's a 5-minute walk to school, 5 minutes walk for me to come back, and he usually gets up late just in time to have his cereal and milk and like do the things he has to do. So yeah, it's not a lot of time. And as I said already, the after school also is not it's not going to be very busy. Because and anyway, I cannot stitch 24 hours like continuously. I have to get up and do something, and those do something is going to be like the necessary things I told you about. So I'm going to start very early in the morning, stitching during the day as much as I can and during the evening, and it should finish, so the finish line should be the next morning at 5 o'clock. I'm not going to stay awake and stitch during the night because I'm not stitching during the night. I'm not a night stitcher. I sometimes when I have the wish or I have the opportunity and I decide, okay, this evening I'm going to like stitch late as late as I want. And usually if I stay late and I stitch, the next day I'm tired, I'm like moody. I don't like myself at all. That's why nights for me are for good sleeps and the days are for stitching whenever I have time for stitching. So in this case, I'll stitch in the evening more than I'm stitching as usual, but I'm not going to have a sleepless night like used for stitching because I suppose I won't even have like strength to stitch anymore. So the next morning, like when I'm going to get up, it's going to be like the finishing line. I'm going to make up the how they say totals, and I'll film the results of this marathon. So what project I'm going to use for this marathon? Generally speaking, the how they say the aim is to stitch as much as possible one project during 24 hours so that you will have a very big visible progress. In my case, I'm going to try to stitch only the Mirabilia English roses. First of all, because it has now, the part I'm going to stitch, it has parts which have, how they say, big chunks of same color, so I don't have to change very often the color of the thread. There are no like confetti, which is going to allow me to stitch as much as possible, and I hope I'll have a visible progress on this design. And also I have this design in cross stitch saga, which means that the app calculates the cross stitches I have stitched. So in the end of the marathon of this challenge, I will be able to tell you how much I stitched in cross stitches, like at this design. And in a second, you'll see what I have at the moment, like before starting with this project. And this is what I have, like stitched since the last time I showed it to you. Not a lot has been added, so I added here one more color of thread so that these ones are finished. Because down here, what I need to add, this is beads and it's ribbons, so I don't have to stitch anything like here. This and I added also the 2 shades of green for these roses, and everything here has to be filled in with dark blue. But my main aim actually and it's going to be a lot of stitches if I'm going to fill this one in, but my main like aim of this marathon is this circle where the main how they say character of this design, the beautiful girl, the young lady, is going to be. So I'm going to try to stitch here as much as possible in this 24 hours. But in case it won't work, I don't know, maybe I'll just feel sick and tired, of like stitching this mirabilia. I need a plan B. I even have a plan C, but I hope and I think that plan B is going to be enough. Okay, my plan B in this case is just an Cynthia sampler. So because at the moment the free projects I'm stitching are free, just free projects. So it's Mirabilia which I want to make the how they say the marathon on. Then it's Cynthia sampler which is started, but it has very little. It has just the first band, and the first band is some pearl threads and a bit of backstitch. I don't even have here the petite beads because I need some petite beads, and I need the hearts, the pearl hearts here. So even the first band, I don't know if you can see it very well here, you see, sorry. Even the first band, it's without embellishments, but this one has a lot of specialty stitches which are being stitched like easily, and they like unwind you, so they make you stitch it in a different way, and it's nicer. So this is going to be my plan B, and just in case that plan B it won't work, I have plan C, which is very less probable that I'm going to get true, because this is Busila, this is summer countryside, and this is how much I have stitched with this one. Let me show you on the hoops. And yes, I have progress here, but the thing is that here the chart first of all is pretty small, and the symbols, as I said, they kind of how they say, kind of repeat themselves, meaning that it's the same season, but it's like they're mirroring the symbols. Oh, this would be the most like perfect word for this, and it's pretty difficult. That's why I'm trying not to make mistakes, because the threads here are Busila threads and I don't have extra. So if I'm going to get a mistake, I'll have to rip off, and I'm not sure if that what I have inside is going to be enough. That's why I'm trying to stitch like slowly but surely. That's why this one is not okay for this project, where I want for the marathon, where I want to stitch much and quick. So less probable that this one is going to happen, but just in case, you never know, this is going to be plan C, because still the main point is going to be this Mirabilia. So yeah, that's everything what I wanted to tell you in order to explain myself what is going to happen. I'm going to film every few hours. I don't know how many hours. I mean, like having a progress, filming it, having a progress, filming it, so that you would see how this marathon is going on. And of course, it's going to be already like the next day. I'm going at 5, not at 5 o'clock, of course, later, after 5 o'clock that day, I'm going to film the totals. So, and you'll see what I have been doing with this project and how it went on. Okay, and good morning, not early morning, but my morning was early, so I started stitching at 5:30 in the morning. So this is when my marathon started, 5:30. So tomorrow morning, 5:30, I'm going to make the totals. What I have done so far, I started stitching her skin, so use just these 3 shades, and I'm going to continue stitching this one. So I stitched from 5:30 until 8 o'clock, until I woke up the child to give him breakfast and like take him to school. And now it's 9:30 and I restarted stitching. So 1 hour and 30 I didn't stitch so far. I'm intending, as I said, to continue stitching with these 3 shades so that I would finish the skin. And probably when I'll finish that one, I'm going to show you what I have, and I will continue. I'm not watching anything because I could have watched. This is not a difficult stitch, but I want my attention to be totally like here. And I'm just listening to podcasts in this case, because not books. I don't like listening to audiobooks, so I'm just listening to podcasts, usually in Romanian. The podcasts I listen, they are in Romanian, like Moldovan and Romanian podcasts. And yeah, that's it so far. I will continue and you'll see what I will have managed to stitch during 24 hours of this challenge and marathon of mine. And this is what I have managed to do. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to make a break. So I haven't finished stitching the skin as I wanted to. So I almost finished, but not finished. It's like I have to fill in here one color. I have to fill in, and I'll finish stitching the skin. I try to move next to the window because I watched what I filmed previously. I filmed it with the lamp because it's raining and it's dark, pretty dark. All day long it's raining, and I thought that with lamp it's going to be okay, but when I watched the little part I filmed, the light part which is here, it seemed very, very light, and I said, okay, that doesn't look okay. That's why I moved next to the window so that it's going to be darker, but in the natural daylight. So I'm going to make a break because I intend to have a snack, have a coffee, do something in the house, like exercise a little bit by doing something in the house because I'm stiff. And the app I'm stitching with Cross Stitch Saga shows that so far, I mean like today, I have 970 cross stitches, so not even 1,000. Yeah. Honestly, I thought that I'm going to be faster, and I thought that I'm going to stitch much more, but no, apparently that's not. So I'm going to finish, like after my break, I'm going to finish like stitching her face, and then I'm going to, so the plans are as follow. I'm going to stitch her dress or blouse, whatever this is. I mean like this part, and a little bit like this part, because they come in the same colors. Yeah, and I don't have the beads, as I attach the beads after I cross stitch. I do the back stitch and then I attach the beads. This is the way I like it usually. This is the way I do it in like Mirabilia, Nora Corbett. This is how I do in also in Mill Hills. And I just wanted to check in and say that I had already my break. I energized myself and I finished like filling in her skin, and that's it. And I have more than 1,000 cross stitches. So this is 1,170 cross stitches. So I'm going to continue to go on, and I'm going to stitch her garment. And I can fairly tell you good evening. Yes, it's late evening. It's 11 o'clock, a bit after 11 o'clock. And this is the progress I have at this time. Yeah, but the dress is still not finished, like this side at least. Because I have a dilemma. So I hope you saw my needle minder. It's polymer clay, an Ukrainian how do I say, girl made it. I'm not sure if she makes them now, but I have it like since 4 years, I think, 4 years, not sure, but I haven't used it. I just noticed that I'm not so much into needle minders, by the way, but I am into scissors. So I noticed that I could skip buying needle minders, expensive ones and how they say, popular ones, but I cannot pass next to a pair of scissors. Yeah, something like this. Okay, but I started stitching her dress. You see these colors, and I remembered about this needle minder, and I said I have to bring it and like enjoy it. So What I have done so far, not so much, because I had Kreinik and I stitch slower with Kreinik, by the way, than with threads, but nevertheless the work is almost done. Okay, which was the dilemma, by the way? I started stitching with the Kreinik. It's pretty much Kreinik here. I mean, it's this color 9294. It's Periwinkle, the shade is called. So the design is asking for 2 Kreiniks, and they are very fine braid number 8, not number 4, but number 8. And you know, like this one, which I use like here on the outlines, this one, it wasn't pleasant to stitch, but it went okay because it's the, as I said, it's the frame, you see, and it's just one row, and it was okay. But when I started like stitching here, so the this one 9294, I didn't have a full spool, so I had a leftover from with number 4, and I have a leftover with number 8, and I said that I'm going to use both leftovers, and that would probably be enough for this design, so I didn't want to buy new Kreinik for it. And when I needed because this one I already used, I said in one of the previous videos about this one, but the periwinkle, so I needed here so a few like stitches, I needed here a few stitches, I needed like here a few confetti stitches. I used number 4, and when time came to use it here, because here is the big chunk with this periwinkle Kreinik, I started stitching it again. The stitches which come like in confetti, they don't come like big chunk stitched with the same color, you see. So I used it like here number 4, I used here number 4, I used here some number 4, I stitched this part, and then I started like here number 4, sorry, number 8, the thick one, yes, so that you would understand. Number 8 is the thick one, and number 4 is thinner. Number 8 finished, I continued like using number 4. You see this big chunk is stitched with number 4. Then I went on and I stitched with number 4 everything here. And now at this moment, I kind of stopped. So I finished stitching the Kreinik. I stopped because when I was looking at everything stitched with Kreinik, this part, this chunk which is stitched with number 8, I don't like how it looks like. I mean, like this one, you see, which is with number 4, it's and when you touch the fabric with the stitches, it's okay, but this one is very, it's unpleasant, you know, it's kind of, and I don't like how the stitches look. I don't know, maybe through the phone it looks okay, but in real life it looks, it doesn't look neat. I don't know how to call them. And when the time came to introduce the 2 like thread color, floss colors, which I had to use here, I didn't add them like here. I just added like here, I just added them here, and made the back stitch on the outline of her dress. And still looking at this one, I don't feel comfortable with it, and then I decided, why continuing stitching if I don't feel comfortable with it? And the decision was made. So until I was like stitching the other things here, I was looking here, and the decision was made. So I'm going to rip off this side because it's not a lot, and it's just Kreinik. I don't have like to how would I say, because if there are like other colors of floss next to it, it's more difficult to rip it off. I'm going to rip it off. I'm going to stitch it with number 4 with this one. So this is the last leftover I have, and it's going to be number 4. I'm not sure if this one is going to be enough. It can be enough, but the problem is that I need this color of Kreinik on the upper part. It's just couldn't be seen. So there is also a part like this on the upper side, and there is needed Kreinik. There is needed like 150 and something
stitches. So pretty much, and I'm sure that this one is not going to be enough for this one to rip it off and stitch it with this, and for those 100 and something. That's why before ripping off, I still looked for this Kreinik in the shops. I found it like in stock. I ordered it already, yeah, some, how to say, half an hour ago. I ordered it already so that I would make sure that I have it. And I'm not going to finish my stitching this evening yet, because I'm going to rip off this part. I'm going to stitch it with number 4, and I'm going to add the 2 floss colors which I need, so that I would have this part of the dress complete. At least this would be the task for this evening. I'm not sure if I'm going to like film again, because I will be probably very tired. That's why tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, as I said, I'm not going to stitch. I'm not going to wake up before 5:30 to stitch, but I'm going to make the final conclusions, and I'll show you what I have stitched and what I think about such an experience. And oh yes, probably you noticed that she has the back stitch of the outline of her eye and her brow and her lips, because I started stitching her dress, and I didn't like her face, and I said, okay, let me see where I can backstitch so that I could have a nice looking face, because I backstitch only those parts which are stitched, I can, because the outline of the face I wanted to backstitch it, but I cannot do it because there is no background here so that the backstitch would be. So I'll still continue stitching, and I'll let you know how this adventure of mine is going on.
And I finished it. No, I haven't finished it. I haven't finished my challenge of stitching 24 hours. I mean, I didn't finish the design, of course. So last night I didn't film anything else when I finally finished it, because it was late. It was, I was sleepy. It was 1 o'clock at night, 1 and 10 minutes, something like that. Because I haven't stitched a lot from the moment I showed you. Till the end I ripped off here the Kreinik number 8 and stitched again with Kreinik number 4, the same shade. Then I added the cross stitches with threads like this color, this darker color, and I had a bit of like this lighter color. And then I still decided to fill in this, I think it's a petal, rose petal, here, and that's it. So didn't do much thing. And at that moment I had that feeling that I could stitch more. I wasn't tired, because usually when you stay late at night, there is a moment when you are tired and you feel that I cannot stay anymore, and I'm like falling asleep on my hoops. And then there is that moment when you already there is the point when you get over that moment and you feel like, oh, I could stitch more. So before going to sleep I had this feeling, oh, I could stitch more, but nevertheless I decided not to do it, because still it was 1 o'clock, and I woke up at 5:30 and I was tired, and I thought about the next day, it means this day. So yeah, I stopped, and this is what I have. This morning I haven't woken up early. I haven't stitched anything. I have even been to the shop. I needed some milk, and the little one wanted some donuts for him. And the most important thing that I had to return his books to the library, because tomorrow is the deadline, and if you are not returning them in time, they are charging you, I don't remember, I don't know how many pieces per day, but I know that when we enrolled to the library, or how made the subscription to the library, they told or the email. Okay, the thing is that if you don't get the books in time, they are charging you penalty. Okay, so I had a walk. I just it was okay, but still I am tired. I am sleepy and I am tired, and I am not sure that I'm going to stitch at all today. Maybe I'm going to like do some finishing. Maybe I'm going to like do some cleaning up with my threads. Still, I don't have the wish to stitch, you see. It was too much yesterday, but nevertheless, it was the challenge I wanted to have and I wanted to see. So, numbers. During these 24 hours of stitching, I have stitched 2,181 stitches. Honestly, that's not a lot. Because in one good stitching day, I can reach 1,200, 1,300 stitches in a good stitching, like successful stitching day. So this number doesn't even have 2 of my good like stitching days. And I also had like it was me who put on myself this pressure that I have to stitch as much as possible. I have to have like large numbers to see how much I can do during 24 hours. But when I don't have this pressure, I stitch kind of freely, quickly by myself. So honestly, I was expecting that I would have more, kind of like 3,000, but no. And by the way, I also got the speed of stitching, because I heard some stitchers saying that, for example, I stitch 100 and I don't know, 50, 200 stitches per hour, cross stitches per hour. I didn't know this, but now that I had the opportunity, I counted, and I stitch almost 200 stitches per hour, but be careful, it was here where I didn't have to change a lot of like, it wasn't a confetti, you see, because if it was here, I suppose that it would have been like less. And again, a disappointment. I don't know why I thought that I'm stitching faster, but in such a way I can explain my fast stitching. I think my fast, how would I say, progress on the stitches, on the projects, probably this is because I stitch frequently. So in my case, it's not the speed, it's the frequency of stitching. This is the way I can explain myself. And because I stitched it with an app, I have the numbers. I started with 13.5%, and at the end of like stitching, I had, and I still have, 32.55%. So during these 24 hours, I stitched 19.25% of the project. So 20%, almost 20% of the project, which means 1/5. Not bad, but still. Then it came to my mind the question: does it worth it? Would I repeat this experience? And the question was no, most probably that not. So it doesn't worth. At least I came to the conclusion that it doesn't worth how they say, putting this on yourself for 24 hours, because the next day you won't stitch. For me, at least today, I'm going to be not very productive, resourceful person, so it doesn't work. And again, I said I was expecting more cross stitches from myself, and it's tiring. It's and again, usually when I stitch day by day, I don't stitch much time. How do I say? For example, I stitch 45 minutes, mostly 1 hour, and then I stand up and I do something in the house. I do something. You see, I like make physical exercise. Yes, and then I stitch again if I have the time. I stand up, I do, for example, I cook before I get to school to get the child, because when he comes home, the food is ready. Okay, it's ready, it depends on what I cook, but if it is the food which requests much time for cooking, it's cooked before he comes from school, because when he comes, the food is ready and it's warm and he just eats. So I do quite much movement, but yesterday it was the time when I could stitch like 2 hours and something, almost 3 hours, just going to the toilet and back, and that's not for me. And no, I don't know, the only exception can be the case when I need to stitch something really how do I say, fast, because I have a deadline. But as stitching is my hobby and it's not my job, I don't have such deadlines. So it was interesting. It was nice. but no thanks. No thanks, it's enough for me. So if you liked it, it became how would I say, interesting for you as well to find out how much you can stitch or how much you can do in 24 hours. I challenge you to accept the challenge and try. So choose a day when you don't have anywhere to go. Clean, cook, do the washing before that day so that you wouldn't do the chores, and try. Why not? You know, unless you don't try, you don't know what you're capable of, and you don't know, does it worth it or not? In my case, my conclusion is that no. It's a good result, still it's a good progress, but no, it doesn't worth it. So yeah, I'm challenging you to try to do this thing, and if you are filming videos, of course to film it in a video and tell about your experience. Me and this Mirabilia, what I intend to do, like when I'm going to go back to it, it's not going to be today. I'm telling you from the very beginning, I don't want to see this work today, this project. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch here, like this one has to be filled in with dark blue. So I'm going to fill in this one with dark blue. I don't have to look at the chart. It's going to be like a nice stitch, watching something. Then when I get to the lady, because lady is going to be the next one, I am going to finish her rose wreath she has on her head, the hair, and then I'm going to do the background and the backstitch, and the last one is going to be this part. So this one is going to be the last one, and this last one isn't going to be so easy as this one, because there is kind of half of it is dark blue, less than half is dark blue, and then there is again this mess of roses. Yeah, so progress has been done. I'm going to stitch more of this work. I saw what I'm capable of in terms of stitching in 24 hours. I hope you liked the video. I am sorry about filming it at night with not professional lighting, but I hope it's something new, it's something interesting for you, it's something different from what I film usually, and it's going to be interesting for you to watch. Bye bye, see you in my next videos.